One of the things that I find so fascinating about life itself is that there's always something more that we want. We always want something more from life, from our own experiences, and we always feel like there's something missing. And that's very intriguing to me because Paul actually talks about that inside of the Bible. So you've probably felt this before. I know I certainly have. Something's perfect, it's so beautiful, and we say, man, this is how it should be. And then sometimes it's like, man, I just feel like something's missing. And so we have these conflicting things happen, and we have these times where we want more, or where we feel like, why can't this just last forever? And what we're really longing for is perfection. And so today we got to talk about finding the beauty in life, because we could live our entire lives and never see the beauty of life, but we actually have to find it. So let's talk about that today. This is going to be a short episode because this is actually not a very complex topic, and most of my episodes I want to be shorter, and then they end up usually being about 20 minutes each, but that's okay. I feel like that's the pacing just feels right, so I'm happy with that, and usually I can sit through an episode kind of like that. Put it on double speed or something, whatever you want. But this is kind of simple because we talk about this a lot inside of just living as Christians, because we understand things about the world that other people are still trying to figure out and think they have their explanations on, but then it just doesn't work well. And so we have literally an entire life handbook about the creation of the world, how to live our lives, what happens inside of the world, how to navigate what happens inside of the world, the beauty of the world, the sin and the evil of the world, and how the world ends. Like, could you ask for anything else? We have that as Christians, and so now we get to explore and enjoy the benefits of knowing this and having this knowledge and hopefully spreading it to other people. But one of the things I find the most beautiful is literally just looking outside. I got a window over here, the sunlight's coming in, it's beautiful, but I can just look outside all the time. And when I go on runs, I love running. I love nature because you can just really go out and see the beauty of God inside of the world, into the natural creation and natural order of life. And the Bible talks about this extensively. There are so many times, like the Bible from beginning to end is just going on and on, using nature and the world around us to just show and depict things and to give understanding to us as humans of what is happening inside of the world and how we need to navigate the world and live our lives. And it also shows us, here is Christ, here is God. He's presenting himself to us inside of the world, inside of the experiences that we have in nature. You know, there are Bible verses upon Bible verses. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Literally the first verse of the Bible that most of us know. That's so many people know this, but we don't ever think about what does this actually mean? Like, what are the implications of this? And maybe it's not that big, but I just think, the world began, right? Really, it's like, no, God created the heavens, he created the earth, he created space. Space didn't exist before, now it exists. And then he continues to create the stars, the water, the land, the clouds, day and night, all of those things. But first, he creates what we literally live on and where we live, how we live, everything we live. Like, if we lived on Mars, it would be so different from the way that we live here. We would need Mars as it is, right? Say that we were made for Mars, the gravity, the day and the night cycles, the temperature, all of that stuff, we'd be adapted to it, but it would still change the way that things work and the way that we live our lives. The calendar, all of that stuff would be different. So a very beginning baseline stuff, we could go look at the rocks inside of the earth and say, this is proof that God exists. And also, isn't this beautiful? Sure, it's just a rock, but have you ever been in a cave? We got to go to Luray Caverns over the summer, and that was such a cool experience, going down deep into these caves. And I loved it so much because I was like, wow, this is just awe-striking. This is impressive. These caves are amazing. And those are the types of things, you're inside of the earth. How crazy is that? You're really far down in the earth. So to be able to go and do those kinds of crazy awesome things and have those experiences with God's creation and with God's nature, and we don't ever, I think when I think of nature, the first thing that pops to my mind is like, the trees and the birds and the sunshine. I don't think about the depths of a cave. Like, that's not what comes to my mind very first thing. But that is true. That's still what that is. He created. Those were some of the first things around. So it's like, wow, that's awesome and crazy. I've also had experiences recently just like out in the woods, in nature, with nature and friends. And that's been really fun, really exciting. To be able to be outside in the world is a really massive blessing and something that's super amazing. I think a lot of us take it for granted. But we remember with the lockdowns and everything that happened in 2020, there were a lot of people stuck inside of their apartments, and they couldn't go anywhere. And I was happy, very happy. I felt very happy and very blessed to be able to go outside and be like, fresh air. Now let me go on a nice run. That was really, really happy, and I did not take that for granted. I ran so much that year and I loved it. It was a good outlet for me. But I got to experience and enjoy God's nature. And you have to find that beauty because, like I said, you can't just expect it to be there inside of your mind. You'll see it, and I think a lot of us do. We naturally say, oh, wow, look at that. How beautiful is that? But we can so easily lose sight of it. And when we go and seek it intentionally, what happens is we don't just say, oh, wow, that's so beautiful. We start thinking about all of the stuff behind it, all of the details that go into it. And that creates a much more beautiful and a much more immersive and just comprehensive experience for us to be able to understand, wow, this is actually way cooler than just, oh, wow, that's so beautiful. You know, you see like cool nature stuff on those 4K TVs they have in stores, like look at how clear and sharp our image is. And they're playing like the same thing across all of these TV screens on this back wall. But what about the fact that all of those things, those tigers and those lions and those cool waterfalls and the snow, are actually real and created by God? It blows my mind, and we're really expanding such a small topic here, but it seems small. It's actually not small because of how used to it we are. We're so used to it, we're so immersed in it all the time that we take it for granted. So, like Genesis 1:1, Psalm 19:1, Psalm 8, Romans 1:19-20. Like, there are endless verses going. I started recording some and then I was like, I'm done. There's too many. You guys just go read the Bible and you'll find some. You could possibly open the Bible randomly and just find something within a close range of wherever you opened it. But I just wanted to take this time in this one moment to just say like, wow, this is so cool. This is so beautiful. Let's actually really think about the beauty behind God's nature. We call this natural theology. And I looked up like natural theology, right? It's like Paul really talked about it first. I think it was Paul. And then, you got guys like Thomas Aquinas who talk about it and write stuff. And it's so extensive and detailed and really smart and like, wow. Bruh, it's just nature. You live in it all the time, like whatevs. And the internet is very pessimistic about it as far as that goes, which is how they always are. But when we look at it, it's like, wow, we're trying to create entire orders of thinking around this very singular idea in this topic. And it's just so beautiful to me. Like, nature screams, the rocks cry out. If there was no one else around, the rocks would cry out to worship God. Like, that's crazy. Just to think about those kinds of things. And the trees, like, they know I don't know. And maybe that sounds kind of stupid, but I think you guys are getting what I'm saying here, where the natural world is just so beautiful, and we spend so much time not living in the natural world that we forget about the natural world. And we then forget about God and what he did. I have a friend who's a farmer. I have mad respect for farmers. Always have, always will. But being able to be friends with one of these guys who's actually a farmer, you just get so much more of an understanding of the natural world. And that's more kind of like the life I live. I have a very nice balance of and mix of a lot of things. But when you live the farm life, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but when you live that life, you're around a lot of this more natural stuff all the time, and it's a lot of hard work, and you use machinery to do it too. But these days you have machinery, so that's really helpful. But you're working the natural world as your day job, and a lot of us don't do that anymore. Just point blank period, we don't, and we just kind of forget. Studies about green exercise, going out, getting exercise during your lunch break drastically improves happiness, lowers depression, helps your physical fitness a ton. It's like, really? No duh. we knew this. We were created in the natural world. We didn't get plopped down here with skyscrapers and with buildings and with cars and with all these machinery and technology and fun, fancy things and podcasts and phones to listen to our podcasts on. No, we were put in a garden. Naked as well. But we were put in a garden where we could work the land, where we could live in harmony with God's nature, the way that it was designed. And when you go and learn about things like grounding, crazy stuff, like no wonder we were made the way that we were and put in the place where God knew what he was doing. And we're just playing catch up, learning about all this stuff. And we take it for granted. Like I said, we take it for granted. We build these crazy things. And I'm not saying they're bad. I really enjoy living in a house. I don't want to have to sleep outside. It's January. I don't want to sleep outside in January, but I really like having a house and a shelter. Don't even want to sleep in like a tent. We need these things now, especially because the world is broken and fallen. But we need to also remember to go back to nature and to reconnect with nature as well. So there you go, kind of a rant on a little topic that really just passes us by every single day. A lot of us do actually appreciate it, and I find the people who naturally appreciate it, I naturally gravitate towards those people, and I love it because you just get to go live in this world of awe and splendor. And for me, that's really fun, just living inside of God's creation, being mindful of his presence, and getting to do that in community with other people who think the same way is really cool to me. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that and found this helpful, and I will see. Wow, there is like a little gnat or something flying around here. I will see you guys. Go away, it's winter. Gosh, this thing is annoying. I'll see you guys in the next episode. All right, peace out.